All right, we're back with Advent Part 2. Just to recap, Advent is a period of preparation and anticipation observed by many Christian traditions. It's the 24 days leading up to Christmas, where Christians prepare spiritually and they celebrate the birth of Jesus through prayer, reflection, and all kinds of good stuff, ready to celebrate the big day. So I'm ready to get you ready for Advent. So here's Part 2, so days 7 through 12. Chapter 7, Luke, chapter 7, Advent, day 7, miracles on miracles. Jesus starts blowing people's minds with his healing skills. First, a Roman officer, the centurion, asked Jesus to heal his servant. This dude's so humble, he's like, you don't even need to come. Just say the word. And Jesus is amazed by his faith and heals the servant remotely. Talk about long distance miracles. Later, Jesus interrupts a funeral procession and brings a widow's son back to life. People are shook. They're calling him the ultimate prophet. Meanwhile, John the Baptist, he's still in jail, sends his squad to confirm if Jesus is really the guy. And Jesus responds, check the receipts, dog. I got miracles everywhere. Chapter 8, day 8, Advent. Luke chapter 8, story time and storms. Jesus starts dropping parables, like basically life lessons wrapped in stories. And one of his bangers is the parable of the sower, about seeds landing on different types of soil, symbolizing how people will respond to God's word. And then he flexes his power over nature by calming a storm. And his disciples start freaking out. And they're like, y'all really think this storm can mess with me? To top it off, he casts a bunch of demons out of a man, and they go into some pigs who get themselves, and then they jump into a lake. And the guy Jesus heals becomes the hype man, and he's telling everybody what's going down. Chapter 9, day 9, Advent, Luke chapter 9, the glow up. Now Jesus takes Peter, James, and John on a mountaintop where he straight up glows. This is the transfiguration. Moses and Elijah show up, and the disciples are like, whoa, what even happened? What's even happening right now? Afterward, Jesus predicts his death, but his squad doesn't get it. They're too busy arguing over who's the GOAT in his crew. And Jesus tells them the greatest among you is the one who serves. Day 10, chapter 10, Luke, mission impossible turned mission possible. Jesus sends out 72 of his followers to spread the good news and heal people, and they return hyped about their success. But Jesus reminds them, rejoice not because demons listen to you, but because the names are being written in heaven. He also tells a famous parable of the Good Samaritan, which is a mic drop lesson about loving everyone, even your so-called enemies. Day 11, Luke chapter 11, prayer and shade. The disciples ask Jesus how to pray, and he gives them the Lord's Prayer, aka the blueprint. He also drops bars and persistence in prayer, saying ask, seek, and knock. Meanwhile, the Pharisees are throwing shade, accusing Jesus of using demonic power, and Jesus claps back at them, schooling them on logic, like, why would Satan fight against himself? Then he calls out the hypocrisy, saying, y'all are so clean on the outside, but filthy on the inside. Day 12, Luke chapter 12, priorities and no cap. Jesus tells his followers to stop stressing about material things. He's like, God's got you. Focus on the kingdom and everything else is going to fall into place. He also warns about staying ready for his return because nobody knows when it'll happen. It's like waiting for the ultimate surprise party. He wraps up with a reality check. Following him isn't all rainbows. It'll cause tension, even in families. But he's keeping it real, and he's calling people to choose their priorities. Days 7 through 10 shows Jesus leveling up his teaching, performing jaw-dropping miracles, and challenging people to rethink their lives. If you weren't hooked before, this is where the plot gets even thicker. That's Advent Part 2, days 7 through 12. And come back for Advent Part 3. Be blessed by the best. Merry Christmas.